did you want to go over or not?
I'm still having trouble here for some reason. Well, I haven't gotten anywhere.
So what are you gonna do? I don't know how long this meeting usually lasts.
We'll go till about 8. But nobody's on yet. One person signed in. I was.
I don't care. Or they say I can throw something together quick here, or you want. If we go, I don't know where we go eat.
We think in there or something down.
Down Kings Highway, there's really nothing. Sunrise McDonald's, KFC.
KFC, Gracie and much.
They might cross the bridge and there's,
Nothing across the bridge, is there?
no,
Quick.
not quick anyway.
What's her name is there from genealogy, and get her number, Burnett, and email address. I did it, or you get it from her.
Well, I don't care, Charlie, I just.
Zoom is different than it was.
What?
Zoom is pages are different than it was. You got an okay outfit on, so do I.
What?
You got an okay outfit on, as well as I do.
Why, you have to dress up to go there?
No, been there before. The first floor you gotta pay, but on that floor,
You're not gonna get over there and it won't be there.
they said it's at the museum.
According to,
The one museum around,
according to that, yeah.
I talked to Dick himself.
expired.
Right.
McDonald's coupons.
Oh, yeah, McDonald's.
You taking your walker though, right?
Yes. Seen it before.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right in here.
Well, turn it. Did you wanna take your pills?
I can.
Oh, go away.
And here.
Welcome. Welcome. That works a little better. Welcome to the May 2021 general meeting. This is the open forum session. We'll run this from 6 to 7. We are on Zoom, but there's nobody signed in yet. So we'll be recording it on Zoom anyway, so make it available later. No, I'm okay with this one. Thank you, Mary. I did send out an email asking if anybody would be interested or would attend a session during the week in the office in person. And I don't know if you responded to that yet. If you would, I'd appreciate it. I emailed one out to pretty much everybody. Right now, 42 people have responded and 73.8% said, yes, we'd love to have an in-person session. And of that, 72% said, any Tuesday's fine with us, okay? I think what I'll probably do, since the first Tuesday, we have an open forum anyway at the general meeting, I think I'll make it the third Tuesday. The third Tuesday, we'll hold an in-person class at the club's office. It may be a BYOC though. Bring your own chair. We might be able to scrounge up about 14 chairs. I did some head counts or chair counts today. So, I generally, we don't have much more than a dozen that comes to the meeting, comes anyway, but we have had as much in season as 24, 25 people. So it would get pretty tight with that though. Can we help you, Grover?
Yeah, she left her card out.
Okay, Rosemary.
Yeah, I'll take it to her. Where is she at?
Right here.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm surprised she knows who she is without the tag. Well, we've got one other person joining us on Zoom. Hello, Lou. I will continue to do my classes on Wednesday on Zoom. So those of you that are on Zoom with me on Wednesdays, we'll continue to run those, and Mary's going to continue to run her tech classes first and third Saturdays at noontime, all on Zoom. Any questions from any of you that are here? Yes. But how do we get to the office?
Okay, first of all, did you set up a different link for tonight,
Nope,
other than what's on the,
nope.
what on
Yeah, one person is.
We've got one person in.
yeah, but I keep trying to get in, it tells me you get another meeting.
I just signed into Zoom to our vice president account and clicked on the general meeting, I thought.
Did I put the link I had on the board?
Let me see the link I've got here. I've got general meeting. 884-2430-4649.
That number's not the one on the.
That's the one on Zoom.
09.
864-2430-4649. Passcode 572805.
Hang on, this goes to the next one.
Ask that again.
How do you get to the?
How do we get to the office? Okay. You come over the bridge from Port Charlotte. The way I like to tell people is take the left on East Ann Street. That's the street just after the traffic light, just before the Golden Corral.
It's at the fire station.
Take that left, go all the way to the end. The high school will be right in front of you, and to the right will be the parking lot, and that's where we're located. There's a door in the back. It's a brown door now. They painted it on us. And it says employee entrance, and there's a doorbell you can press and somebody will come out and get you. However, starting on, is it the 10th, Grover? Starting on the 10th, it probably will not be accessible for a couple of weeks. They're gonna build a ramp there and another way for us to get in. Then you'll just have to go in the main entrance, which is between the two buildings, and there's a telephone there, and you can call, and we'll have somebody will come out and let you in.
Ladies up there at the front desk.
Yeah, the ladies at the health department at the front desk are aware of this happening, and you just go over and see them, and they'll make a phone call for you to let you in.
They said they'd be happy if they want to visit. We've got them in for us.
Okay, so they can go out there with their key code and let you in, so good, okay. Yes,
Because when I go to get my pictures, I don't have pictures, I have it like picture, photo picture.
okay, first of all, are we talking about being in the browser or being in
Desktop.
the desktop? So we're talking about being, let me get out of here. So you're talking about being here, right? So we're in File Explorer, and what's happening?
And go to pictures.
You go over to Pictures,
And generally, when
Fran doesn't do much pictures. So
and generally, when you put all the pictures in that folder.
Okay, and what's happening to you now?
Mine did not, because at some point someone asked me what I. So now, boy,
Okay, so we've got a picture. Let me create a picture, okay? Let me just. We'll create that as a picture.
I'm in and it's facing the crowd.
Okay, thank you. So now I've got a picture, right? And it is set right now, what, I'm gonna right click on this. And I'm gonna say open with, and I can say what I want to open it with. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And if I say choose another app, and I say photos, and what happens is every time you open that up, it'll open up in photos, right? And that's not what you wanted to do?
No, I would like to see the picture.
You mean right here? Well, you should.
No.
Hang on.
Someone had sent me some pictures, that's what I got,
Yeah,
and I put photos, so. go up to-
if I go up to view and I make it extra large, I'll see it.
And I have it extra large.
Yeah.
except mine go up to. Where's the photo sheet? Here. I put it in photos, yeah.
You put it in photo. That's what I've got it in now.
Now, I would, but if on my, does that show the picture? I mean, it shows the picture.
Well, the picture it's showing here has got nothing to do with that application. This has to do with Windows itself.
How can I get it so when I open the folder, I have all the pictures shown?
That's what should be happening now. What's happening now? You get the what? The symbol for photos? Okay. If you are looking at it as list, that's what it would show. Details or list will show whatever the symbol is here. But as soon as you go to an extra large icon, it should show you whatever they are.
Then
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think I've had a similar situation and it happened when, it was trying to build a list of photos and it hadn't quite caught up with itself. And so until it built that image up, it was showing you just the icons. And in certain programs, if this was created, not a JPEG or PDF file or even a GIF, then it was created by another program like the Photoshop program, then it's not going to show the image, it's going to show the icon of the application. But it changed all.
But what I would suggest you do is let's go over to settings and let's go over to apps and default apps. And down here, but this is hard to read. Change default apps by file type. We have to wait for it to populate all the programs. There we go. So here's all the file types, and there are a lot of them. And you what? Say that again? See, that's thumbnails, photos. See, over on the left, we've got the extension, the last 3 characters of the file name. See, there's JPEG. Oh, that's REG.
Dick, are you supposed to be sharing the screen?
Only if you want me to.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right.
Let me get back to you guys. Can I share the screen first? There we go. We do have a bunch of people on here. Sorry about that. There you go. Do you see that okay now? Okay, see,
Good.
JPEG, they're all going to photos. And what you're seeing is that symbol? You should be seeing the picture itself. I really, without looking at your computer, I really can't give you a good answer to that. Okay, this is just saying that every time we double click on a JPEG, it'll open. Every time we double click on a JPG, it'll open. A JPE will open in photos. A JXR will open in photos. That's where I was. That's where it was here. Okay. And if I do the extra large icons so you can see them, this is an actual image. This is the actual image. We can grab a few more images. Those photos have nothing in them. Let me take this picture of me and let's go back down to
George, get red pen.
Let's save that one. And let me go back up to,
Well, I couldn't find pictures of the out kind of shooting, so I thought, I looked at the log and see if somebody had this like class.
and now we've got two pictures out there. And let me get back over to here, go to participants and mute everybody. So now we've got, seeing it showing the picture itself. And if for those of you who might not know it, when you're in Explorer, let's say we go over to the details side, if you do a alternate P in the right, on the right-hand side, it'll actually give you a preview of whatever you're pointing to. Even if that's a Word document or a PDF or an Excel file, it will give you a preview in that right-hand pane. And you can make that pane larger or smaller. If I can get the double arrow. Come on. Honestly, you can, you just gotta, but you can make that pane much larger and then that, the preview will be much larger. And alternate P toggles that off, so that'll toggle that on and off. Any other questions? Now that we didn't do a good job answering that one, you can't think of anything else to say, right?
All of a sudden, the black screen came up that said incognito.
You went incognito. What kind of websites were you looking at? Incognito is no matter which browser you're in, they call them sometimes something different. But Chrome, you can switch Chrome to incognito mode. And what that means is whatever you're doing when you're in incognito mode is not saved. Your history's not saved. Things that you download will be saved, but your history of what you're doing in that particular site or those sites that you're going to isn't being monitored by anybody. Well, let's go over to, let me get out of this. And let's go over to a browser. New incognito window, Control-Shift-N. And there's the incognito mode. See the little guy with his glasses and his hat? Yeah. It says now you can browse privately and other people who use this device won't see your activity. However, downloads and bookmarks will be saved. So Chrome won't save the following information: your browsing history, cookies, and site data, information entered in forms, and your activity might still be visible to websites you visit, your employer or school, your internet service provider. Questions? Yep.
What browser are you recommending now?
Well, the browser that I use the most is Google Chrome. I am also using Edge a lot more than I used to now that Edge has been rewritten using the Chrome base. So Edge has been written using what's called the Chromium framework. It's like the entire foundation for the browser, like the foundation of a house, is built on Chromium for both Edge and Google Chrome. How they build the house, in other words, what it looks like on the screen may be different, but the same basic programming is all the same underneath. Another one that is very much like Google Chrome is the Brave browser. The Brave browser works exactly like Chrome, except none of the information goes to Google. So your browsing history, what you're doing, questions that you're answering don't end up out there for the world. It's like, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but if I go on Amazon.com and I do a search for an umbrella, and then I go on Facebook, over on the right-hand side, I end up with ads for 25 different kinds of umbrellas.
Yeah.
That's because Chrome, Google is saving that information so that other people can pick up on it and say, oh, this guy's interested in umbrellas. Let's show him a few umbrellas. I don't mind that. Some people do. It can save me from doing a lot of research, actually. And there are still many that prefer to use Firefox. Firefox works a little differently than the others, but Firefox has been around for a long time, but has never grabbed a very large percentage of the marketplace. Now, if you're on your cell phone, your iPhone, let's say, you're probably using Safari, unless you've downloaded Google Chrome or something else to run on your iPhone. Your Androids are using Chrome. Your Android tablets are using Chrome.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi, Dick. I got a notification today that Google is doing away with unlimited photo storage in Google Photos.
Good question.
Soon, anything you upload will count against the 15 gigabyte data cap that comes with your Google account. So Google Photos has been, one of the free ones that we use, the free option. So we've got to, I guess, do something about that, huh?
Well, what the question is that this is from Barbara Durham and Barbara and Jerry. And they just found out that Google Chrome is
No.
changing their rules for
Google Photos. Google Photos.
Yes.
Okay.
Google Photos. If you load your photos up to Google Photos, which we've been suggesting for some time, every time I take a picture on my phone, it automatically, because I've got the Google Photos app on my phone, it automatically goes up into the cloud in my Google Photos account. Now, if you have an account with Google, and you don't need Gmail for that, you can sign up for an account with Google with any email address you'd like, and you get 15 gigabytes of free space, okay? There are two ways to upload photos to Google Photos. One is in high definition mode, and the other is in original mode. Original mode, every time you upload a picture, it uses up part of that 15 gigabytes of free space. If you upload your pictures in high definition mode, which is basically a 16 megapixel picture, which is a very high definition picture, Google hasn't been charging you for space. I've still got almost my original 15 gigabytes of space still available to me. And I've got over 6,000 pictures up in Google Photos. So what's going to happen June 1st when Google makes the switch and no longer are your photos in high definition going to be free? In other words, they're not going to, they'll start charging against your 15 gigabytes of space. Well, the good news is anything you've got loaded up to Google Photos before June the 1st is still going to be free forever. So the first thing you want to do is make sure all the pictures you own are uploaded to Google Photos before June 1st, okay? And then it's only gonna be the new pictures that are gonna count. You'll still wanna upload them in high definition, because high definition will take less space than the original size, unless you're a professional photographer and you really need to have them up there in original size. But what does that mean? Well, 15 gigabytes is a lot of space. Your pictures are generally around 1 or 2 megabytes, unless they're really high definition pictures. So you can store 7, 8, 9, 10,000 pictures in 15 gigabytes. So for most people, it's really not going to affect you. And if it does, and you start to run out of space, it's going to cost you $2 a month to get, I think it's 100 extra gigabytes or 50. I can't remember that, 50 or 100 extra gig. So at worst, it's going to cost you a couple of dollars a month. But it's going to take you a while before you fill up that 15 gigabytes of space. Did that answer that okay, Barb? Yes. How do you know how much space you currently have left? You're not keeping an adding machine tape next to your computer? So the question is, how do, okay, that sounds good, Dick, but how do I know how much space I'm already using? Let me minimize, no. I'm used to working with 2 screens. This is a little bit difficult. Okay. Am I on Chrome now or am I on Edge? Okay. Now I don't remember offhand how I check the space. Do you remember?
Go to your account, your Google account, and get the little grid.
Well, that, yeah. Well, it isn't pictures in Google Photos, just how much space on the Google Drive. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to photos.google. Well, let's do what Mary said. I think I see it. I think I know what she was getting at now. Let's go to Google. And then let's go to the menu button. And then let's go down to let's go to photos. And then in photos, we can take a look at. You do have pictures. You got lots of pictures out there. Oh, okay. Okay.
Look on the Google Docs page. So you can
Now let's go over to Google Docs, which would be Google Drive. So if we take a look at Google Drive, we get down here to storage, we can see that this is Fran's computer, and Fran's using 256 megabytes out of 15 gigabytes. But if you want to buy some additional storage, you can click on buy storage, and 100 gigabytes is going to cost you $1.99 a month. How many of you have an iPhone? How many of you are paying 99 cents a month for the extra space on the iPhone for your backups? I'm already paying $1 a month. So $2 for Google so I can have as many pictures I want is, isn't really that big a deal. Yes.
So if you go to cloud, there are rules that you have to actually go places.
Okay, I think if I got the question right, if I've got an iPhone and I'm uploading backing up my pictures to to the iCloud, why do I need to back them up to Google Photos? Good question. You don't. Okay? Well, if you're not gonna use it, right, you don't have to buy, you don't have to use Google Photos. However, Google Photos is can be backing up what's on your computer as well as what's on your phone. Okay? Yeah. And one thing about backing up the photos on my iPhone, I've noticed that with my iPhone, I'm backing up the photos on my iPhone. And it does that every couple of days, but it does the automatic backups. And when it backs up the photos I've taken on my iPhone, I still get to see them on my iPhone in my gallery. Okay? But it's not the full-size picture. When you back them up to the iCloud, the original goes to the iCloud. And unless you actually open up the picture, all you see is a little thumbnail that they send back to you so you don't fill up your storage on your iPhone, which is really kind of neat. So I've got like thousands of pictures I can look at that are in my iCloud. And when I tap on one of the little pictures to look at it, then it brings it down from the iCloud so I can see the whole picture on my phone. That's not true with an Android phone. The Android phone, your pictures are out there unless you take them off your phone. But with an Android phone, you can also plug in a little micro SD card with 64 gigabytes of space and store as much as you want. You can't do that on an iPhone. Okay. Right. That's why on my phone, I don't have to go through all that. I just have them go up to Google Photos when I take the picture, and then I've got them in every place I want them, without having to move any photos around. They're up in Google Photos, and from Google Photos, I can bring them down on my computer if I want, but I can see them right on my screen as long as I've got internet. I can see them on my phone, and I can see them on somebody else's phone too. But you do what? Okay. Okay. All right. She says she only moves her pictures when she's getting a new phone. Okay. I like to keep mine backed up. So if I lose my phone or something happens to it and I've lost all the data on my phone, I've got them someplace else. Because that happens.
I'll just do it from the file explorer.
There we go. All right.
Assuming it opens.
This is Fran's OneDrive. All that stuff that's showing in the OneDrive, notice there's a picture of a cloud here. Can't see it too well, but what that means is these are all up in the Microsoft OneDrive on Fran's computer. That means they're in the cloud. Any computer that he signs on to, where he signs into his Microsoft account, he can access any of those files and work with them. So if this computer gets trashed somehow, all that stuff's up on OneDrive. He just gets a new computer, hooks into OneDrive, and he's got all the stuff that he has been working on. That's the advantage of using the clouds.
What's the OneDrive, 5 gigabytes of free storage?
5 gigabytes of free on OneDrive, yes.
I think I've only used about half.
And there's pictures. Nope, that's empty.
Back to picture. I would say,
No, there's nothing in there, or we'd see something on the screen. Empty folder. Empty folder. You may have them in actual, in actual picture. Maybe my picture.
You get to knock out people. Yeah.
There we go. And that's what you're seeing is all those pictures of the photo, right? That's because, as Mary had pointed out earlier, they hadn't resolved yet. So there's a bunch of pictures. They're all out in the cloud, but he can access them on his computer because they're in the cloud. And that's what we use the same for Google Photos. We can access them from the Google Photos cloud. We can access things from the Microsoft OneDrive cloud. If you've got Dropbox, you can use Dropbox to store your things as well. Mary?
We looked at, talked about the icon showing us posted the image of the photo itself. We may have something on the computer that is taking more resources away from building up the images of the photos. You might do troubleshooting on that computer to see what is, or go to the tools manager and see what is actually causing, what is taking more resources than it should. You may want to delete that or turn it off. It might be an extension in the browser that is taking over the resources of the computer. Try turning some of those off and restarting the computer from Superman spyware or Malwarebytes, the license cleaner, all those kinds of things.
I know you can't, people online can't hear what Mary's
Oh, I'm
saying. but
sorry. And then-
What Mary's saying is that the lady that was having the problem with not seeing the actual picture on the screen when she goes into Explorer, it could be that's some stuff is running in the background that is slowing her computer down, so it's not able to resolve. For instance, if I open this folder, well, that didn't help me any. There weren't a lot of things in there. But when we first opened up this folder, all we saw was pictures of the photo icon until the computer was able to look at the picture, create a thumbnail, and display the thumbnail. And if there's stuff happening in the background that's really slowing down the computer, you may just not see those things happening quite yet. If you wait long enough, they should all resolve. So you might want to run super anti-spyware and Malwarebytes. Hello, Charlie. Good to see you. Charlie's been in the hospital for a number of weeks, so we're glad to see him tonight. He just came home on Saturday. Hi, Mary.
4 months.
4 months in the hospital. So,
He had 2 brain surgeries.
by the way, last month I talked about, I had some little devices that you could put on your screen to hide your camera. I got 6 more, so if somebody wanted to come down and grab one afterwards, first come, first serve. Any other questions? Trevor?
I want to thank you for the suggestion you gave me about my systems for using my cell phone, copy my pictures with, my old.
Yep.
It's so much faster, and it's so easy.
Is that using the scanner or anything else? Yeah, you know, our cell phone cameras now are pretty good. You remember the old flip phones? And you'd take a picture and it would be about this big and it wouldn't be that clear. But with these, man, I use it constantly. You know, I'm working on a computer and I need to get a hold of the tag on the bottom that tells me what kind of computer it is. I just turn it over, take a picture, and then I can look at it on my screen while I'm trying to find something on Google but if I've got old photographs, like old photograph albums, just take a picture of the pictures. They come out really good.
Some of them come out better than the original picture.
Yeah, I was over at a friend's house a couple of years ago. He had a little photo album which was filled with I don't know, it was one of his birthday parties, 50 or 60 years old, I can't remember, but it was taken with Polaroids. And they were all really dim. is the Polaroids kind of dim out after a while. I took pictures with my iPhone and they came out sharper than the original. The color came back and much easier than putting them in a flatbed scanner and trying to scan them.
Especially when you follow that up by using the polarized.
Yes, we've given some examples of how you can take a black and white picture, take a picture of it, and then you run it through an app that will actually colorize it and put colors into it. It's amazing how it does that. Because it could be that your blue shirt turns out red, but you know. Yeah.
Picture underneath it, that way I wasn't having to study it. There. Looks good.
Yep, and if you've got 35mm slides, what I like to do is I'll just take the 35mm slides and project them on the screen, and then take a picture of the screen. Comes out fine.
Do a screenshot.
Hmm?
Do a screenshot.
Well, yeah, but that's, yeah. You mean screenshot?
Use the computer to make take the photo by doing a screenshot of the image that you said you were projecting it onto your laptop.
No, 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 no. 35mm slide projector screen.
Okay, gotcha.
That screen. Yep. Yeah. And there are some apps we have talked about over the last few months that you can actually take a photo album that's got 2, 4, 6 pictures on the page, take a shot of it, and the app automatically separates it into individual pictures for you. And it also allows you to colorize and to add captions on each of the pictures. That one, I will look on my phone and tell you.
There are actually several.
I think that the one that we've been using is called Photomine, Photomyne. Photomine. And if you go back and take a look at some of my weekly notes that I send out, you'll find a number of places where I explained using that. And I also wrote an article for Dave's Computer Tips on how to do that, with a bunch of pictures to show you how. Any other questions?
Wish I knew about that before I scanned all these pictures.
That probably would have been good, eh? I don't know. I have not had a virus hit my computer and I can't tell you how long. Microsoft's security system, I don't think, maybe it's caught one virus over the last 6 months. Anybody had any issues with any viruses?
I had one before last, but it caught it. Just one.
Okay, yeah. You know, I had somebody the other day that their machine was running a little slow and they were running Norton and McAfee. And I uninstalled both of them and turned on Microsoft Security. There's no need to spend $40 a year, and definitely don't have more than one. But we find that Microsoft Security works really well. It comes with Windows 10, it's free. I've read a number of different reports on antiviruses, and that one is usually up on near the top of the list. So if you run that along with the Super Anti-Spyware, Malwarebytes, and Wise Disk Cleaner, and you run those on a regular basis, I haven't had any issues. That's all I can say. Anybody had a real problem with malware recently that's been running the maintenance programs?
I had one come up the other day. I was doing a search on an image that I had downloaded before and made some modifications to. But I was trying to find the original to see if there was a copyright on it or if I could use it for free. And I had 6 different occurrences of using that particular photo as a logo for and none of them were copyrighted, but one of the sites took me to something that, tried to download a Trojan on my computer. And Malwarebytes immediately found it, and I ran the Super Animal spyware and Malwarebytes and quarantined everything, and everything was just fine. But, the maintenance programs are very important to make sure that you don't have things coming onto your computer and not being resolved.
Now, I get serious for a minute now. If April showers bring May flowers, what do May flowers bring? Pilgrims, that's right.
I'll make one.
That was good. I didn't get that one. That was good. Where do you go to learn how to make banana splits?
I know the answer.
Sunday school.
What?
Sunday school. The question is, are we still using CCleaner? We stopped using CCleaner probably about a year ago, I guess, when what was happening is that CCleaner was no longer part of Ninite, which is what we've shown you how to do to download Malwarebytes and Super Anti-Spyware. So you had to get CCleaner off the web itself. And when you did, it had a lot of sneaky little programs it was installing on your computer unless you paid real good attention and unchecked a bunch of boxes. So we started using Wise Cleaner, Wise Disk Cleaner, and it does the registry and it gets rid of all of your junk files. There's nothing wrong with using there's nothing wrong with using CCleaner. CCleaner has cleaned itself up. It still works. It still works really well. So if you're accustomed to using CCleaner, I'd keep using it. Grover?
I still use it myself. What they do on the major updates, they're gonna put Avast on the.
Yeah, you got to watch out for that. CCleaner may want to include Avast.
You want to make sure and uncheck it. So you're gonna get.
And if you get Avast, what that does is it turns off Microsoft security. Avast works really well, but you don't need it. But then you'd have to uninstall Avast and make sure you reactivate Microsoft security.
Yeah, if you do the update, definitely want to look at the little box and check it.
Yeah. Now, there is a program, and I will be doing, probably I'm going to be doing a write-up on it soon. It's on my to-do list. Rather than using Ninite.com, I'm using something called, and a lot of us at the Computer Club are using Patch My PC. And Patch My PC, we use instead of Ninite, and Patch My PC includes the Wise Disk Cleaner, and it includes CCleaner. And it will not install any additional software for you. So if you use Patch My PC, you'll only get what you want. You won't get any extra stuff. Questions? Oh, sorry. If you get a new computer, how would you find these maintenance programs? Is that what the question is? Okay, well, like I said, I think that the simplest way is to download a program called Patch My PC, and then you check off the programs that you would like, and when you run it, it'll install all those programs for you. We do have a write-up that's on the club website as to how to download the maintenance programs with links for you to do so. And of course, the simplest method, if you're really not sure, is to bring it into the office and we'll help you get it set up for the first time, okay? Question, yep? No?
I updated this computer today before I brought it in.
Yeah,
I've got that little sun shining on the bottom there next to the temperature. See the little yellow circle down the bottom there?
oh, yeah, okay, down here.
Yeah, I have no idea how the hell that got put in there.
Oh, it's 85 degrees and sunny.
Oh, I didn't ask for that.
See,
Oh, I'm
So-
sure they did, yeah.
that just happened to appear today on Fran's computer. He's not sure where it came from.
Now it says manage interest up in the top corner there.
Yeah,
So somehow this is related.
It's the news and weather man.
Yeah. You can't.
it's from MSN.com,
You can't-
Microsoft
you can't
News.
Right click on that and get rid of it from what I can see. Right.
Oh, you mean after?
Aha,
Something there, I don't know. Not too much check there, though,
no, there isn't much checked.
that toolbars at the top.
Nope.
Uh-huh.
Ah, right there, news and interest, show icon and text. So, nope, that didn't take it away. The problem is you poke around so much, you change 7 other things and then don't know what you did, right? But yeah. Yeah, that's what Fran was just figuring, but one of the latest updates. That's the question.
That's what I'm trying to figure
How
out.
do we unpin it? How about taskbar settings?
Yeah. Oh.
No. The bottom is the taskbar. Taskbar bottom, show badges, replace command prompt, nope, nope, nope. Automatically hide, you have to lock the taskbar, nope. Don't know. Aren't we lucky?
There are 3 dots. yeah.
There we go.
Up above that, up above.
Hide weather card,
No, a little-
this one here, okay?
And then.
Manage?
They want some feedback, why don't you send them some feedback?
Yeah, I don't like this.
It's stuff that.
Too much information.
Don't know.
Try the 3 dots you were gonna try the first time. Yeah, Windows.
Yeah, we'll install Linux.
What is that good? Just that thing where-
Probably just that.
Yeah, that just get rid of that. But we still got this. See more news.
Look at the, oh, no.
No,
No.
How to get that letter back.
Probably a drop out to Anna.
Well, we know that much is the cloud, maybe.
could be. Tips and tricks. I wonder if it says how to turn me off.
No, that's going to be a surprise.
I don't know. Manage interests.
Did you say you had no interest in it?
No idea. If anybody figures out how to get rid of that, let us know and we'll pass it around. You couldn't figure it out either. Okay. What doesn't? Escape doesn't work. Yep. Is it a what? It was an add-on? Yeah, well, it's been added by, we're not really in a browser, so it's not a browser add-on because we're not in a browser. So it's something Microsoft added with one of the latest updates, I guess. They haven't come out with a definite date yet. The only thing we know now for sure from what I've been reading is that it is coming. It'll be 21H1 and they expect it out sometime this month. A lot of it has already been downloaded and installed on your computer. Yeah, that's what Fran said, that's where this little sunshine down at the bottom came from. So each week they've been sending us little pieces of it. So the final piece is supposed to come out sometime in May.
So basically, we can all look forward to having the sun.
You'll all have the sun every day, as long as you're down here. When I go up to Kentucky, it probably will be different. That's right, you got that right. No ice and snow, please. I've already sent my request up north to say, pray for warm weather. I know they did. Okay, well, I'm gonna turn it over to George. Let me turn it over to you now. Do you want to take a little break or? All right, we'll take a 10-minute break. We'll come back. Let's just come back at 5 minutes after 7. And George will have his introduction to his program of the month, and we'll have our meeting and then our presentations.
We gotta stop sharing.
As we start every meeting, let's. Is this one?
Share the screen.
Oh, okay. Okay, as we start every meeting, let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank everybody for coming. It's a beautiful day. I would understand you not being here, but very grateful that you are. Are there any new members tonight?
There's one right there.
And your name? Okay. Thank you for coming.
Up here is also a new member. She joined last time, I believe.
Oh, well, welcome back. Any visitors? Okay. I just want to remind people that when you come, feel free to bring a friend, family member, acquaintance. We're always welcome to have more people here. We're going to start with the volunteer of the month. This volunteer has been with us for many, many years. They have been on the board and for many years and been doing a lot of volunteer for us. Donna, can you come down here, please? If you stopped by membership this evening, you saw Donna there. And Donna has been working, how many years, Donna?
Oh.
3?
10, 15.
110, right?
And she has been on the board. And right now she's helping us in many ways. She does publicity for us. And we just want to say we appreciate all the work you've done. Here's a plaque for you
Thank you, sir.
and a little token of our appreciation.
Thank you, sir. Donna? No, cheese. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, and we're gonna go right to the favorites.
Let's go down to the little cot there.
The favorite today is called clean PNG. And what they mean by a clean PNG, if you notice, I'm using a yellow background. And you can see with a regular picture, all the white shows up. And with a clean PNG or a clean JPEG, all the white goes out and your picture is transparent. And this is clean PNG. It's got, I believe, 6 million different clean, transparent pictures that you can use for anything. You can go to the search bar. Every month it has different calendars that you can use. And I think you'll really enjoy it. Any questions?
So it'll take any PNG file and convert it into a,
No, this is a library of about 5 million that are already clean.
okay, so it won't clean one for you then?
No.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a guest speaker, Karen. You go up here. Sharon is from Virginia B. Andy Clinic, and she would like to talk to us, and it's all yours.
Thank you. I'm almost short enough, I don't need to pick my. Hi.
I was telling them when I came in, my name is Karen Amador. I'm the Director of Donor Development at Virginia B. Andes Volunteer Community Clinic. Most of you are probably familiar. It's been around for quite a while. It started out as St. Vincent de Paul. When Virginia B. Andes herself left money, they purchased the building and named it after her. But my background with them actually goes much further because I moved here in 1998 and I met Dr. Klein and Dr. Asprilla when they first had a dream about making sure that everyone in Charlotte County got free health care that did not have health insurance. So people that, you know, homeless, you have chronic homelessness, but you also have people who are just in between jobs and don't have insurance benefits. Last year was a perfect example. During the pandemic, people lost their jobs. You probably knew some people. My son-in-law was one of them. So when you think of Virginia B. Andes and providing free healthcare and free medications, you don't want to assume that it's always homeless people because it isn't. But back to my stepping into this, I met Dr. Klein and Dr. Asprilla and I got to know them. At the time, I actually ran a nonprofit. It was called Ocean. We actually honored them for their forethought and starting the free clinic. And I worked at Southport Square for 12 years, and that's where Virginia B. Andes actually lived. So I came in through the back door. So I retired from Southport Square in 2019. And having been on the board at Virginia B. Andes, they asked me, would I like to come and help them educate people about what it is, and of course, raise money because it's a nonprofit and that's what it runs off of, those donations. I jumped right on it because it is something I truly believe in. We all need health care. You should never have to decide, do I buy groceries or do I pay for my medications? Now, I don't know the age of everyone in the room, but we do not, anyone that can get Medicare and or Medicaid, we do not provide free services ongoing. We will give them using a month or two and help them get established. As you know, when you apply for Medicare, I've done it now. It's not just go on there and click a button. You kind of got to go through a few hoops. So we help people do that, but meanwhile, we do provide them with medications and free care. What I wanted to share with you tonight, because as I said, most of you are familiar with who we are, is what your money actually does, because that's what most people don't really understand. Now, last year, because of the pandemic, we actually did not see as many people as we normally do in a given year, but our doors never closed. We did not shut down for one day, because had we, there are people who would have gone without care and gone without medication. So we ran on a small shoestring of people and volunteers. Most of our volunteers, including our volunteer doctors, chose not to come because they were scared. We all were. I had COVID. How many in the room had COVID? I'm the only one? I was in the hospital. I was on a ventilator. It's not fun. It's not fun. All my hair fell out. Seriously, I had long hair. They said it was a stress the body was under. I'm kind of liking short hair though. It's really good thing now I'm wearing for the clinic. Might not call it that. It was a scary place to be, but it also gave me a new appreciation for life, a new appreciation for what our mission is, and a new appreciation for helping others. So I want to share with you what you do with your donations. Again, last year our numbers were down in the number of people that we saw, but 20% of the people we saw were new patients. So that tells you how many people in our county were impacted by the pandemic. And by the way, if you don't know, there's over 30,000 people in Charlotte County that do not have health insurance. That's a lot of people. So last year in the clinic, we saw almost 10,000. We had almost 10,000 visits. Out of that, over 5,000 were in the clinic itself, and over 4,000 were specialty visits. And what that means is if someone comes in and we get a diagnosis of cancer and it is metastasized or it's an extreme case, Moffitt will actually do work for us for free. We have a lot of community partners. We have a lot of collaboration. So we work with everyone. We're part of a big network. The average cost per patient, and for those of you who know, even with Medicare and health insurance, is not cheap to go to the doctor. So the average cost per patient is $234 right now to go to the doctor. So if you figure out how many patients we saw and how much that would cost, that actual value of care was over $2 million that you would have spent to take care of those people in public settings. The avoided cost of the emergency rooms. Now I want you to think about this, because what most people don't realize, when you go to the emergency room, if you don't have health insurance, they'll see you and they're going to give you a bill, but you're not going to have the money to pay it. So they'll either write it off or they'll partner with some organization that buys their debt, their medical debt, people that have not paid it. And it's somewhat of another nonprofit that helps pay those down, because otherwise we're all in trouble. So if every one of those people, every one of those 9,673 visits had gone to the ER, because we weren't there, and had gone to the ER, that would have been almost $21 million that would have been debt in this county. $21 million that the hospital didn't have to absorb. And you know what happens when the hospital absorbs those debts? We pay the price. That's why a box of tissues in the hospital is $100. That's why everything is so expensive, because they have to find ways to make that. Now, our pharmacy is also on site, and it is amazing. He compounds, he does everything. Might be a free clinic pharmacy, but it's one of the best pharmacies in town. He saw 1,200 people last year. Out of that 1,200 people, they came almost 11,000 visits, because each person comes more than once. There were over 29,000 prescriptions filled, and had those been paid for, had those been where you go in and you go into a Walmart or CVS or a Walgreens and you pay for it. But you think about this, $1,539,048. That's what it would have cost. They didn't pay a dime. And surprisingly, we didn't pay much, because out of the 100% of medications that we give, 98.5% of those medications are donated to us by other organizations, charitable organizations, nonprofits, pharmaceutical companies. We have a patient assistance program where somebody pays $1 and gets $10 worth of prescriptions. So we're partnering with all of those people. The average cost in the pharmacy per person is about $220. That's what it would cost them if they went and paid for it. But it's free. Now, how do we do all this? Because if you've ever, has anyone ever come and toured our clinic? You need to do that. If you have not, please see me sometime. I'll give you my card, make an appointment, come, take a tour of clinic, take a tour of the pharmacy, see really what we do, because it is an amazing organization. It really is. It's run almost all by volunteers. There's a handful of paid staff. Most of our physicians that come in are volunteers, our nurses, our providers, the front desk. This is all volunteers that do this. Last year, and again, 90% of the year, we were running on our skeleton crew. They put in over almost 10,000 hours, volunteer hours. And this excludes the other places we send clients to. This is just in that building. Those volunteer hours, if you could build them out at $25 an hour, which is the average cost of an employee in that field, would have been $651,334. We didn't have to pay anybody. They were volunteers. Our patient statistics, about 56% are women, 44% men, which is pretty common in the field and in the medical field. But I wanted you to know the impact of your dollars, because Virginia B. Andes depends on the community. It depends on you. It depends on hospitals. It depends on churches. It depends on other organizations. That's how our doors stay open. Every single dollar that comes in there makes an impact. That's what it does. Without every one of those, the door's shut. It wouldn't matter what we wanted to do. If you don't have anybody there, if you can't afford to pay the rent, you can't afford to pay the light bill, you can't stay open. So that's what your donations do. And I wanted you to see and hear those numbers, because it is impactful. But I also want you to know about the faces behind those numbers, because it isn't just a person. Every time we save a life, every time we get an early diagnosis of cancer, every time we find a mask, every time we help somebody get diabetes medications, you're not just treating that person, you're treating your family. You're allowing that husband now to get the medications he needs so that he can go back to work, support his family. They, guess what? They go out and spend in retail, helps the economy. So it's a full circle. A healthy community helps everyone. So it's not just numbers. These are faces. There's one particular lady I want to share a story with you about. Her name's Jennifer. I did bring a cheat sheet because I don't have that great a memory anymore. It is true. When you turn 60, everything falls apart. Her name's Jennifer. She lived at the Bread of Life Mission. I don't know if most of you are aware of what that is. It's not really a homeless camp, but that's the gist of it, is what it is. She moved there because she had lost her job that she had for 12 years. No fault of her own, layoffs, no pandemic, a lot of places closed down. She was sleeping outside in a lawn chair. And I won't share all the stories that she shared with me, but I cried for 3 days because there were times she would sleep late in a chair in the yard and would wake up and there would be a rat in her chest, or rats eating on her feet. Now, this lady had never been homeless. She had worked every day of her life. She had done everything right. But by no fault of her own, life took a different turn. On January 4th of 2021, as she was sitting in her lawn chair at the Bread of Life Mission, she couldn't breathe. So one of the people there, she did have a car that she had when she was working. It was paid for. She still had her car. They took her to Bayfront Hospital, and she doesn't remember a whole lot after that because they ended up putting her in a trach tube for her to breathe. Her legs were swollen. She had blood clots. She had congestive heart failure. She died on the table 3 or 4 times. They revived her. She was seeing double. The room was spinning. You name it. I heard you say you had a couple brain operations. You know what this is like. It's scary. They were monitoring her very closely. The respiratory therapist stayed with her for hours, held her hand, said that she was not going to die on their watch. And every time she woke up, that person was sitting there. As she started to get stronger, they moved her to the 2nd floor and started PT. Got her on a walker, but her heart rate kept increasing, so she was taken back to the 3rd floor, more breathing treatments, on and on and on. She had to relearn to walk, to talk. She had a speaking valve. Towards the end of March, she was finally released back to the Bread of Life Mission. But on Saturday, she ended up back in the ER with a severe pain in her peg tube. The balloon in the peg tube was pressing on a muscle, and so they had to go in and take it out. Everyone in the hospital was praying with her, praying for her. This is why I cried. This lady's sitting in my office. And as she's sitting there and she's telling me her story, and my heart is breaking for her, she's smiling. The whole time she's smiling. Now, most of us aren't going to be smiling if that's the condition of our lives. Most of us might not feel sorry for ourselves, but we're definitely not going to be praising God in that moment. But as I'm sitting there talking to Jennifer, she's smiling. And you know what she said to me? When I said, I'm so sorry that we're going through this. She said, I can go through this because Jesus went through a lot more for me. That's why we're there. That's why we help them. This lady has every right and every reason to be upset, angry, and frustrated with what the hand that life has dealt her. She's not. She's still counting her blessings. She thanks us every time she comes, but I give her a hug because you know what? She's made my life better. She's made me want to get up and go to work and help and do what I can to make life easier for everyone else. So I didn't tell you that story to bring you down. I told you that story for you to feel great, for you to count your blessings and you appreciate getting up in the morning and you loving every single minute of life, because as you well know, none of us know when it's the last one. But to also thank you, because if it weren't for people like you, we couldn't do that. We couldn't help Jennifer. We couldn't help Mary. We couldn't help Joe. We couldn't help all the people that we help. So thank you.
Karen? The computer club has always been a friend of the clinic. And last Friday, the board decided to give a check with $3,000.
Thank you so much. Big cardboard ones that I can hold up. Here, you're the computer geek. You put it on there and blow it. Thank you guys so much. I mean, a big one.
You gotta get that from Publishers Clearing.
Yes.
You can put it right on the screen.
Yeah, you can make it. Seriously, you have no idea what this does and what it means. You really don't. But thank you so much, because this saves lives every single day. This saves lives. You're saving lives. Thank you so much. Where are we located? Sorry, that's okay. The easiest way to tell you is right across the street from Fawcett Hospital. It's on Olean, 21297 Olean Unit B. But if you're coming right now, if you wanted to come, I'd say from 41, take Harbor and take a left on the Olean, because all that construction, you don't want to stay on it any longer than you have to. And right now, they're even closing our driveway for points of time during the day as they're working on replacing the drainage pipes. It is an amazing place. I did bring trifolds. I'm usually pretty loud, at least my 4 children tell me that. I brought trifolds. If you want to learn more about us, I also have some business cards. I would love to give you a tour. I would love for you to come in and see what we do. It is amazing, and so are you. Thank you.
Our next call is from Fran. And I'm going to take these brochures and put them on the chair. And so you want to see if they take the big ones, they're more than welcome to. Fran?
Hello, can you hear me? My talk is not going to be anywhere near as exciting. Should I smile?
Yeah. Perfect.
I'm going to talk about backing up your computers. Now, is that exciting or what?
You're gonna have to share it, because I took it off there.
Okay. Well, that's exactly why I'm talking about it. So that's shared, right, Dick?
You hit the minimize button on the one on the right. Now you get the full screen.
All right, let's see if I can find
I
my,
have to interrupt while he's doing that. What you guys didn't, what I forgot, I failed to mention, your check is being matched. So your 3,000 just became 6.
thank you. Hey, Dick, any idea how to make this full screen here besides this guy? It's pretty close, but I think there's a way to just make it. All right, so you can see the title, I think, up there, Backups, Who Needs Them? I referred here to the famous words of Alfred E. Newman. He's a magazine guy that I knew back in high school. One of my favorite magazines. All right, so for those of you who don't know who Alfred E. Newman is, here he is. And I had to reference, no, he's the guy on the right, not the guy on the left. I thought this was interesting because I'm not a huge fan of Facebook, and this Mad Magazine cover, that you can see the title, the 50 worst things about Facebook. And at the bottom, if you can't read it, it says number 26, friend requests from idiots. I thought that was perfect. It seemed to make a lot of sense. So anyway, what can go wrong? Why bother to back up your computer? I listed a few examples here: hardware failure, software failure. You get a virus or malware that can make a mess of your computer. Ransomware, somebody might attack your computer and hold you hostage for ransom. They want a few Bitcoins from you to release your computer. Or your kids or your spouse might play with the computer and mess it up on you. So there are some pretty good reasons to back it up. Now backing up is like running, super anti-spyware or Malwarebytes. We like to talk about it, but it's a pain in the neck and we don't do it as often as we should. So I tried to come up with a way that made it easier and maybe a little bit more automatic. So first, let me talk about, well, as you can see on here, how can we make the process easier? Automation and simplification. There are several different types of backups. One of them where you're backing up everything. You're making an exact copy of everything on your computer would be a full backup. Then there are differential backups, which only back up the new information from the last full backup. And then there's a third kind, an incremental backup that backs up everything since the last incremental backup. It's gets a little tricky to understand, but it's, in a sense, it doesn't really matter. Here's a picture of a differential backup. So you got a full backup here. You can see this mouse moving around. The first differential backup is small, and these pictures don't do it justice because the first differential backup on my computer, the first differential backup is probably 5% of the size of the first full backup. So if the full backup's taking you several hours, that differential backup might take you 10 minutes. The second differential is, again, everything since the full backup. So it might be twice the size of the first differential, and so on and so forth. You keep accumulating these backups. If you had to recover your hard drive from these backups, in this case, it would use the last differential backup and the full backup to repair your computer. The software does this automatically. It's not anything you have to deal with, but I thought it would be interesting just to get a sense of what's happening behind the scenes. So this is an incremental. This is the first backup is a full backup, and each of the incrementals is a backup of whatever's changed since the last incremental backup. So they're all about the same size. They don't change too much. In either case, the sizes, it doesn't make that much difference. Generally, the differential or the incremental backups are so small that those backups, when they're run, can be 5 or 10 or 15 minutes instead of several hours, like a full backup. So what do you do? How do you make these work? Here I've got pictures of Macrium. And, rather than running Macrium, I just took some screenshots of how you set this up on the computer. You bring up Macrium. This top disk right here, GPT disk number 1, is my C drive. It actually says C over here. And then this disk below is my passport, is my USB drive that I plug in for my backups. So to start this process, you click on image this disk. It says, where it says press here to image. Those are my notes. So then you got to select the source drive and the destination. So in this case, it's going to the G drive, which is my passport, my USB drive. And I've got a folder in there called Macrium Backups. You can click on these dots right here and change that to whatever you want for your backup. This is, and if you're doing backups, this is pretty typical. You do this every time. The other thing that I do is down at the bottom, you click on the advanced options. What most of us will do is verify the image to make sure that what we've copied is an exact copy of our hard drive. So in here, there's a box here that you can check to verify the image or the backup file directly after creation. It says right here, auto verify the image. Personally, I don't know why they don't check this automatically. It does slow down the process, but you have to do it manually if you want to have your backup image verified by the software. So I would do that. Then the important part here is when you get to this page, if you say next on that last page, here you can actually set a schedule. So I set 2 schedules, a full schedule. In my case, I'm running a full backup monthly, once a month, right here. The first Monday, every month is checked, 9 o'clock, and I told it to start on May of 2021 in this case of generally I would do it on, on the first, Monday of the next month that's coming up. So you do that, you say, okay, then you can create a schedule. You can see it in the back here for differential backups. And this one I do weekly. So this one I'm doing weekly on Mondays, once a week, Monday, every 1 week, 9 o'clock, starting, this one was April 12th. I've done these things at different times on different machines, but this gives you a sense of how it's set up. Again, you say, okay, now we've got a scheduled full backup every month and a differential backup once a week. Now, again, because these differential backups are so much smaller, if this schedule works, this thing will, the differential backups will be done in about 10 minutes. The full backup will take a lot longer. So this is what the screen looks like. And down the bottom here, you can define, I wrote it down, you can define the retention rules. How many backups do you keep? Most of us don't have enough room on our backup drives to save multiple copies, especially of a full backup. So I've told it to keep for full backups, two copies and 4 differential copies, which are again, much smaller. And the system will automatically erase the extra copies when you're running the software. I checked off to run the purge before the backup. It gets rid of the oldest copies. And then there's a checkbox here to purge the oldest backup sets if less than 5 gigabytes on the target drive. If you've only got 5 gigabytes of space left, you don't have a lot. It's time to do some cleaning on that drive. But anyway, from here you hit next. This is what the summary looks like. You can see that auto verify at the very top is checked. It says why. You can see the schedules of full backup at 9 a.m. on the first Monday of every month, starting May 3rd, a differential backup at 9 a.m. every Monday of every week, starting April 12th in this case. And here are the retention rules. So full backups, it saves 2 full copies. Differential backups, it saves four of them rather, and it'll run the purge before the image. So these are all things that are set up when the backup is created. Then you can just hit finish down the bottom right. Hit finish and you get this page right now, which offers the chance to run the backup right away or save this backup that you've created. So you really want to do that so that you don't have to go in and recreate this every time. It's saving this process of running these full backups and differential backups, monthly or weekly. So it's an important thing to check those boxes and then hit OK on this. So the next time when you bring up, this is Macri, and this is what I use most of the time, you bring it up. If you click on backup definition files at the top, it tells you what definition files. That's what we just created as a backup definition file. It's right here. If you click on it just once, it tells you what the schedule is, the retention rules. It kind of gives you a summary of all the things, of all the things that you set up when you created this backup. If you want to run it, there's a little computer here with an arrow, kind of a right-hand arrow there. When you click on that once, you get this prompt right here. Give you a few choices. You can quickly run a full backup based on the rules that you created, or a differential, or an incremental. Now, Macrium, if you're using the free version, which most of us are, will not allow incremental backups. It has to be differential only. I think it's a minor issue. The backups will be a little bigger with the differential, but to me, the end result is pretty much the same thing. So it's pretty easy to click on that little computer image, hit differential backup if you want to do a quick backup, or a full backup if you want to do the whole thing, and hit finish at the bottom, and the thing will start. It'll just run. Similar process for EASUS. I don't use it, so I'm not anywhere near as familiar, but there is a prompt down the bottom or a link where you can schedule the backups, again, to automate some of this stuff. Bottom right, click to start the backup. Here's what the schedule looks like. You can tell it monthly, every first Sunday. In this case, you have a choice of incremental differential. It's right in the software. I think you can do it either way with ESUS. And it says here, point monthly first backup is full. I assume that means the first time you run it, it's going to do a full backup for you. Wake the computer to run the backup. So if the computer's sleeping and you have a scheduled backup, it'll wake it up to run that backup. And you can click also, there's a thing called image reserve strategy down the bottom. That where again, you can set the rules for how many of these backups you want to save and keep on the backup drive. So in this case, I will preserve the last 2 backups, and it says don't delete the first image. Again, I'm not as familiar with ESUS, but it certainly appears that from everything I've seen, just playing around with it, you can set a schedule, you can run differential and incremental backups, and automate some of this stuff so that it's running in the background when when you're not even looking. It's just happening. Take one of those burdens off your back. And this is just the end of ESUS. Now you can do whatever you want. You can close the program, and the backup process will run automatically in the background. And someone once said, a wise man I know once said that there are 2 types of people, those that back up and those that wish they did. Which are you? That's the question. Anyway, anybody, any questions? Everybody backed up? It's like running super anti-spyware or Malwarebytes. It takes a little bit of effort to do it. And if there's a way to automate this process, I thought, why not? Oftentimes I'm sitting there in front of the computer and I get a little notification in the bottom right that it's about to start a backup, and it's like, works for me. I know it's working, I know it's happening, and I don't have to worry about it that much. Unfortunately, with Malwarebytes and super anti-spyware, you can't do it unless you pay for the software. You can't automate it. I think Wise Disk Cleaner does. You can set the Wise Disk Cleaner to run automatically once a week or whatever. And that's up in the right-hand corner of the software, I believe. But again, why not automate some of these things and make it easier, and they happen in the background and you don't have to worry about it. So let's go home and back up our computers. This will be posted. It isn't there yet, but I'll make sure they get it to put on there.
The presentation is also going to be on Zoom starting sometime tomorrow.
As an aside, use for the large team process. Take your secondary backup, put it in the car, put it down the street. All this stuff that's in the same room is worth nothing when you have a fire.
Yeah, and if you're going to run one of these backups automatically, you have to make sure that second drive is plugged in.
And once it's done running, put it in the car. Take it to the neighbor's house.
Yeah.
If it's in your house, it's worth nothing. How many external drives do you have?
I've got a couple. I usually only use one. Too many. I didn't even enter the drawing this month because I won the computer last month. Too many computers and not enough time. Any more questions? Yes.
First count. Going.
Yeah.
If
Well,
I may make a suggestion.
yes.
Once a month, you run your backup. Do it twice.
You mean on 2 different?
Yeah,
Backup
do it
drive.
one on a backup drive, put that backup someplace else, safe deposit box, wherever. And then do it again, and then leave that connected for all your differential backups and so forth. Worst case, your computer's totally gone, your hard drive, your external's gone, you still got the one from last month in your safe deposit box.
And how do you feel about backing up to the Google Drive or
And you
OneDrive?
can do that also.
I mean, if you have enough space,
And Dropbox.
you may have to pay to get space, but then you're backing up to the cloud.
And if you've got Office 365, you get 1 terabyte of free space on
Yeah.
OneDrive.
Yeah.
And you can do your backup to the cloud rather than to your external drive.
We got one of our members, a week or two ago, come in, they got a new Gmail account just to do their backup thing.
So they're gonna back it up to Google Drive.
Right.
Yeah,
That's only 15 gigabytes.
yeah, they're gonna have to pay.
Unless you buy the $2 a month for the extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think in general, I've got more than 100 gigabytes of stuff on my
Yeah.
computer. That's the problem. So. Anything else? Ready for a drawing?
Okay, we're gonna start with the door prizes. And Karen, will you do the first drawing?
Charlie's got our red tickets for one thing.
Excuse me a second.
I have to make an announcement. Okay, but then I
Sure.
will need you. Okay, I need to be on the screen. How many do we have here? I can't see because of that. Or even. Oh, 5, okay. All right. We had a request last month from those on Zoom to be also part of some of the raffles freebie giveaway. We're going to experiment tonight with the freebie ones, our red tickets. So for those of you still on Zoom, there are 5 of you. I have included you in the group. And if I pull your name, or if your name gets pulled, I won't pull it. We will mail you that's good. We will mail you the prize. But you must be on Zoom to win, just as those who are sitting here must be sitting here to win that. Okay? All right, so with that, let us begin. What's it worth to you? And so we have the first 4 freebies, which again are the 4 $25 gift certificates, 2 for Walmart, 2 for Winn-Dixie. And Mary, again, will run up and down and deliver them to you if you're here in the room. Okay. You, with your tickets? Well.
No, this is Dick Evans.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Where'd he go? Well, we gotta start going though, because we're running out of time. Okay. No name on the back. So our first one, the last 4 numbers, 0, 7, 2, 7. Right there, all right. And your name? Sherry McLemore. McLemore. Oh, Mary, stay there so I can take the picture. Okay, silence. All right. And if you're okay, instead of running up and down, we will have Karen pull all 4 tickets. So ticket number 2. If you don't mind. I don't mind that. I like it. No name. Okay, no name, so our Zoom people, sorry. The last four numbers are 0724. All righty. And your name, sir?
Gary. Yes.
Jerry Katz.
Gary.
And we need you to smile also.
Oh, I'll sit next to Mary.
Yeah, good. That'll make you smile. Okay, thank you. Ticket number 3.
I'll go on the bottom of the.
All right. Ticket number 3, last four numbers, 0739. Hey, all right, it's Harold Becker.
Hey.
All right, Harold, yep, gotta have your picture.
Ask him if he has a question.
Okay, and ticket number 4 is 0737. What, Mary, stand there for the picture.
Mary can stay with Mary.
Okay, so, all right, they share the prize. Okay, thank you. Then we have the 50-50. Mary, the blue tickets.
And I didn't do
You
one.
didn't do one? Okay, so Mary will pull that.
So how many winners are there?
We have one winner on the 50-50. It is the blue ticket. Last four numbers, 4089.
Yeah, we have a winner. And how much did he win?
And he won, his cut is $42. Yay, Don, I'm rising. Take the picture. Okay, hold the money up. Great.
Teach them low.
Thank you. And the, Dick, can you hand me the one for the computer? And for the computer, Mary, did you take one for the computer? We had, wait, we had, very slim pickings, we only had 8 go for the computer. So let's see who the lucky person is, mix them good. Oh my goodness, it's Mr. President George Kopanek. What do you want to do?
Well, you could draw one, another one of the red tickets and see who wins it.
What?
I was told that if I came home with another computer, I should put it on my side of the bed.
So
So
we're
I
picking
think we're
another-
gonna take another
We're
one.
picking another one.
Now, this one says George Coconut, we're going to.
No, this one.
It's building it in.
I have enough computers as well. Okay, and this winner is Janice William.
All right.
All right, Janice, congratulations. And Janice, if you don't mind. Yeah, we'll take a picture before you leave with the computer. Okay? All right, George, any other comments?
Just want to thank everybody for coming. And all of you on Zoom, thank you for spending time with us. And we will see you next month.
They didn't win, so they left.
Yeah, well, you know, what can you do? All right, thank you. Be very careful on the stairs coming down. All right, Jim. Yeah, we have the.